Morning. So I'm not really hungry, so that's breakfast right there. Coffee, banana, cookies. Before I go to work, I wanna maybe look at some car rentals and stuff. I don't really want to drive my car all the way to Quebec, so we'll have to see.
This is the traffic right now. Look how crazy that is. Look how far it stretches. Do you see those red lights? Holy cow. I feel like my chest is a little red, but I'm not sure. We actually have not vlogged much today. And that's because Tina works till 11 and I've had a really long day at work today. You know, it's getting to the end of the year and the type of work that I do, I have a lot of stuff to catch up on, especially too since I go on vacation in a couple of days. So not much vlogging today. I'm about to go edit Vlogmas day 14 now, and this new schedule where I'm editing the previous day's vlogs so late is getting me really confused, so I'm not entirely sure all the time what day I'm on, but I'm pretty sure it's day 14 that needs to get uploaded. Whew, I'm out of breath. I'm pretty excited. We are going to Montreal and then Quebec next week, which is so awesome. Last time I went to Montreal was when Hina and I just met back in 2009, and we went away for a couple days, and that trip wasn't so fun because at the end of it our car got broken into. So this time around we are renting a car. We're gonna be staying in Old Montreal for a couple of days, and then we're gonna go visit our friend in Quebec for one day. It should be fun. She's pregnant and she's expecting her first baby girl, and we're all just so over the moon and excited for her, and I can't wait to see her. And she's just big now because like her baby's coming in a few weeks, and so we wanted to go see her, and fingers crossed she has the baby while we're there so we get to meet her beautiful daughter. This weekend is gonna be a lot of getting stuff done just because next week I won't be here all of my vacation. So I have to use the weekend to get stuff done. I have to buy gifts for my Secret Santa gift exchange for my sister-in-law's party as well as my brother's party. I will be vlogging at my family's Christmas party, so you guys will actually get to see a lot of my family in that footage, and you haven't really had a chance to see that before, with the exception of my one brother and then my other brother who was in my wedding slideshow thingamabobby. Really looking forward to, you know, taking a road trip and driving for 4 hours with Hina. I'm excited to pack us snacks and make us sandwiches so that we can have a nice little trip, because we actually haven't had any time off together since September of 2015. It'll just be really fun to just kind of get away and reconnect, because this is the first time we're actually both having vacation at the same time. So fingers crossed at the end of it we get a positive pregnancy test. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys, but this is actually our 4th IUI cycle. The first one ended in an early miscarriage, and then the second one, it could have been a chemical, but we're not entirely sure, just because the difference with the first one is I had days of positives, and I had a positive beta at my doctor's office, and then by about 5 weeks I started bleeding. So the second one, I only had a positive for 1 day on day 12. By day 13, the positive was gone, and my period came a couple days late. That one I was pretty sure was a chemical, but the doctor obviously said it wasn't. He was convinced that I had a trigger shot. The trigger shot was still in my system at day 12, which it wasn't, because I know it tested out at day 7. The third IUI just didn't work at all. And the reason for that, I believe, is that they triggered me too late. They had me come in on day 12, which by that point I was already surging and I was ovulating like a couple of hours later. So by the time they did the trigger, it was just too late. That particular cycle was very stressful because our sperm bank didn't actually send over the sample for us. So we spent hours that morning going back and forth from work, for me, trying to get our sample to the doctor's office. In hindsight, looking back, we probably should have just called that cycle a bust and just waited for the next one. But we were so determined to make it happen that we were just not willing to let anything stop us. We thought this was the universe testing us, and you know, we had to go through with it to prove it to ourselves, you know, just to prove that we're doing this for a reason. I'm hoping that this one works. I am optimistic, but I am definitely preparing myself for bad news. I've gone through 3 cycles where I was very hopeful and I built my hopes up, and the crash is so hard and it hurts so much that I don't know if I want to put myself through that again. So after this cycle, if it doesn't work, we'll definitely, you know, go back to the drawing board. We have been talking about IVF. The good thing about our healthcare system here is that the government of Ontario actually funds 1 full cycle of IVF. The downside is that there's a waiting list and it goes by lottery. So it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of waiting. They say on average, it should take about a year for like your name to be drawn. It hasn't been long, it's been about 8 months or so. We'll be taking a break after this anyways, just because emotionally it's just too much for us. I don't know if you've heard Hina mention that at this point she's kind of almost given up, and she's just, you know, expecting anything really, because we were so hopeful and so positive that it would work within the first 3 tries. The doctor really, you know, kind of mentioned, I have no fertility issues. I'm 26 years old. I had excellent AMH. My follicles were good. My levels were good. So we're not entirely sure why it hasn't worked till this point. This entire process that we've been doing for 4 months now, we've only seen our doctor twice. And the first time we saw him, because it was our first appointment, the second time we actually had to be like, hey, can our doctor do like a check-in with us? And that conversation lasted 10 minutes and we both left feeling very unfulfilled. There are quite a couple things in play at the moment. There's one, if this cycle doesn't work, we are definitely gonna be taking a break. And on top of that, we more than likely will be changing clinics. I just feel like the standard of care, especially the clinic that we're going to, which is supposed to be one of the best ones in the city, it's just not up to par to where I expected it to be and to how they advertise it. Personally and emotionally, I don't want to try again. The idea of this not working, which means that it would push us into taking a break, is not something that is ideal for me. It's not something that, you know, I am particularly happy about, but I feel like this is a decision that, you know, is best for both me and Hina. And something like this could really affect your relationship if you're not open and communicative with each other. And we've definitely had to open up a lot more because of it. You know, we just hope that this is the last one, and we just hope that it works, and we just hope that we don't have to go down this road again. I don't want to be, you know, unfortunately I don't want to be one of those women who are 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, cycles in and still not pregnant. And the messed up thing is, for somebody like me, that's how I pretty much see my life going. I don't mean to think negatively or anything. It's just that I'm just not the type of person that spectacular things happen to. I don't win prizes. I'm never the type of person to win something at a raffle, or, you know, spectacular things don't happen to me. And I genuinely believe that there are people out there who were just born to have spectacular things happen to them. And I think that getting pregnant is something that is so spectacular that I don't think I'll get it. A part of me feels like I don't deserve it, like I haven't given enough of myself to the world to deserve anything spectacular happen to me. It's not a good place to be. It's not a good way to think, and I've really had to kind of, you know, force myself out of that. But every single time I get a negative on a test, that's exactly where my head goes. And, you know, I beat myself up, and I'm just like, why am I even surprised? These things just don't happen to me. You know, I've always been the type of person where I've just had to work significantly harder to get, you know, the same things that come to other people so easily, and it's just very difficult. So I just need to, you know, just remind myself that everything will happen when it's meant to happen, and everything happens for a reason, and I just have to stay positive and, you know, stay calm and not stressed, and hope that this cycle works.